our debut movie was us mocking her. And here's a clip from that special production.
Where are you getting all these like mini brainstorms? I'm so impressed by this.
You have to be a founder to really,
I guess,
understand it fully, but maybe in the next wave of our friendship, I'll try to explain it to you. Hold that tight, please.
Okay.
This woman is a fraud, and people get it. She's not special. She's not a feminist icon. She gave up everything for a man, her country, her religion, her career, her family, her friends. She did it because she's a social climber. That was more important to her. Do you know what every working mother out there in America and the UK and beyond does when they're pregnant? Shut up. No one cares that you were pampered day and night and then you had to go out and be loved and adored by a bunch of people while you're... Shut the F up.
She gave an interview to People magazine. She says she loves building this safe haven and show with her daughter. And she says, being able to have my own little girl, as I've spent so much of my life championing the rights of girls and women, knowing this is something that I can create in front of my daughter and teach her what it's like to be a working mom. This is not what it's like to be a working mom.
Like her.
That's what everybody says.
Yeah.
Everybody who works for her quits. Everybody says she's a bully. She's very nasty. Not only is she incredibly controlling, but she's a bitch about it to everybody who works for her. When things inevitably start spiraling downward, she blames everyone but herself. Okay, wait, I wanted to rewind because there's so many points.
We all go to work every day. It's very fucking hard. I don't feel sorry for you. You know, I didn't have people bringing me my meals and rubbing my feet at the end of the day, as I guarantee you these two did. No one cares. Our sympathies aren't with you. They are with the women who work 2 or 3 jobs.
Honestly,
right,
for all I know, she had 20 jars of jam and 20 of her weird popcorn things. I have no idea. It's not necessarily a sign of success that you sold out in 45 minutes. I have no idea what your inventory was. Maureen actually bought one of the jams just for research, and it was in the most shoddy, pathetic little cardboard. It was truly something you'd find at your kids'
They say fame is a double-edged sword. One side sparkles, the other cuts. And no one embodies that more than Meghan Markle. She was once an actress with a steady role on a legal drama, a Hollywood hopeful making her way through the industry. But then she found her prince, not in a fairy tale, but in the royal halls of Buckingham Palace. Overnight, Meghan became a duchess, stepping into a world of tiaras, traditions, and tabloid headlines. But as the glitter of royal life began to fade, a new story emerged, one filled with whispered rumors, media clashes, and a woman who would become one of the most divisive public figures of our time. But is Meghan Markle a misunderstood trailblazer, or has she become the architect of her own infamy? Once celebrated as the fresh face of the royal family, an American breath of fresh air in a centuries-old institution, Meghan's narrative soon shifted.
She is the most insecure person I have seen in the public eye in a long time. That is why everything had to be perfectly curated. Who the hell picks fucking berries in a white cashmere blouse and white pants? Literally no one on earth does that.
Her royal wedding was a global sensation, a real-life Cinderella story. But within months, the media's tone changed. What was once an inspiring love story became a spectacle of drama and division. And at the center of it all was Meghan herself, hailed by some as a symbol of modern royalty, but dismissed by others as a cunning social climber with a taste for the spotlight. They called her ambitious, manipulative, and, worst of all, inauthentic. A word that cuts deeper than any insult for someone trying to win hearts. Meghan didn't just marry into the royal family, she rebranded herself.
If I were Meghan Markle, here's what I would do. Not that I'm taking gold-digging advice from Ilaria. I would have stayed over in the UK, eating crumpets and scones. I would have pumped out a few more royal babies, and then the Queen would have passed on to greener pastures, Philip would have passed on, and then they could have stepped back from the royal family.
Podcasts, Netflix deals, children's books, and even jars of jam with her name on them. For someone who claimed to crave privacy, she seemed to spend a lot of time in front of cameras. Her podcast, Confessions of a Female Founder, was meant to be a platform for powerful women to share their stories. But critics saw it as something else, a vanity project. In one episode, Meghan boasted about her success, saying, Her products sold out in 45 minutes. But skeptics were quick to ask, sold out of what? 20 jars? 100? And then came the quality complaints. A jam purchased by one reviewer was described as shoddy, pathetic, something you'd find at a school bake sale.
Her podcast, which is called Confessions of a Female Founder, here she is.
When I think about big milestones for my own business, with As Ever, I mean, Netflix coming on as my business partner, huge. Just having a global powerhouse that believed in me and the site selling out in the first 45 minutes of launch, everything, every single piece that we had been working on.
It's one thing to sell a brand, but when the product doesn't live up to the promise, even royal sparkle can lose its shine. But it wasn't just the business ventures that drew criticism. Meghan's public persona, the one she so carefully crafted, began to show cracks. She spoke of her life's struggles with tears in her eyes, describing sleepless nights, overwhelming responsibilities, and a desire to protect her family. But those emotional confessions weren't always met with sympathy. Instead, they were dissected, analyzed, and labeled as insincere.
We spend so much of our life trying to prove something, to prove that you're enough. You have to prove that you're pretty enough. You have to prove that you're smart enough. You prove that you're a good wife or a good friend. And I was like, I am just so done with the prove it game.
In one podcast, she claimed to write daily emails to her children, a sweet idea on the surface. But instead of admiration, it sparked disbelief. An email every night? Thousands of emails by the time they grow up? To her critics, this was just another example of her tendency to exaggerate and attempt to portray herself as the perfect mother. Even her iconic status as a female founder was put under the microscope. What had she really founded? A line of products, sure, but wasn't this more about cashing in on her title than building something from the ground up? The only thing she found, one critic mocked, was a rich, famous husband.
But yeah, no, with Meghan Markle, the only thing she found was a rich, famous husband. If that's what constitutes being a founder, then sure, Meghan Markle's a founder. She found a mansion in Montecito to live in. She found a sit-down interview with Oprah to bash and shank her in-laws and accuse them of racism. But founding, putting your name on some cheap jellies, jams, and dog biscuits, I don't know, sounds like a fall from grace for me.
For someone who once championed independence, Meghan seemed remarkably reliant on her royal connection, constantly referencing her title, signing gifts as Her Royal Highness, even though she and Prince Harry had stepped back from royal duties. Was this a slip, an innocent habit, or a calculated move to keep one foot in the palace door? But for all the criticism, there is no denying that Meghan has mastered the art of staying in the spotlight. Every new venture, every public appearance, every whispered rumor becomes a headline, and as long as the world is watching, Meghan is performing. Her Netflix series was another opportunity to rewrite her story, an intimate look at her life, her thoughts, her struggles. But rather than a documentary, some viewers saw it as a soapbox, a showcase not of her struggles, but of her ego. The Daily Telegraph called it queasy and exhausting, a series that felt like Meghan interviewing Megyn with a rotating cast of supporting characters. And when even your defenders describe your show as self-referential, it's clear the narrative is slipping out of your control. But if Meghan Markle is guilty of anything, it's of being an expert at one thing, creating a spectacle. Whether you love her or despise her, you can't look away. Her every move is news, her every word a headline. Critics can sneer, but she's playing a game few can master, transforming attention, even negative attention, into a brand. But how much longer can she keep this game going? Because there's a difference between being talked about and being respected, between having fans and having friends, and between being a celebrity and being someone people genuinely admire. In a world where fame can burn out faster than a flashbulb, Meghan Markle has managed to keep the world watching. But as the cameras continue to roll and the critics keep talking, one question remains. Does Meghan control the narrative, or has the narrative begun to control her? Because in the spotlight, the only thing more dangerous than being hated is being forgotten.